Soy contains the same amount of protein per volume as cow's milk, soy milk, I mean. And it also contains all of the essential amino acids. The essential amino acids are those that that humans have to get from their diet, that is not produced in the body. Hello, welcome back to Circee Health Pod. We're back with another riveting episode. I think I say riveting. We're back with another exciting, glorious episode to pique your interest today. I will start by apologizing for my rough voice and occasional cough. One or both of the children have gifted me with some kind of illness. So apologize ahead of time. Anyway, today we are delving into the world of plant-based milk, MLK, for those that get offended by saying milk, MILK, or mulk, as our 4-year-old likes to say. So we're going to talk about the differences between them in terms of taste, nutrition, environmental impact, and then I'm sure there'll be some fun facts thrown in as per usual. So here we go. Yeah. But before we start, we always like to remind you that our goal is to educate you and empower you in these podcasts so that you can prevent and or bid farewell to chronic health issues for good. Also, we both like to remind you, especially when we're talking about nutrition, please talk to your doctor before embarking on any kind of diet change.
Yeah. Not just nutrition.
Well, yes, sorry. I guess today, because I'm focused on nutrition, yes. But as you'll see where we're going, there are certain groups of people that have to be mindful of certain plant milks. So just make sure before you decide to totally change to a certain plant milk. We're excited that you do if you do, but just check with your doctor.
Even if you're not, at least it'll give you some idea about what they entail and what you can expect if you do choose to try it once in a while.
Yeah. I guess I should say I'm Dr. Ajoy Prabhu. I am a double board certified internist, which is specialist in adults, and pediatrician, which is specialist in kids.
Well, when she says internist, she's not an intern
internal medicine doctor, attending physician.
Yes.
I thankfully finished my intern year many moons ago.
Yeah, thankfully. And I'm Ajoy Prabhu. I studied pathology, but I'm being asked to call myself a
medical researcher. An evidence-based buff.
Evidence-based buff. Yeah.
That's you.
All right. So, the thing with these alternative milks is that in the last few years, just I would say 3 years, I would imagine, the amount of, the number of people that know about it, the exposure that these kind of milks are getting has been enormous. I mean, you go anywhere, even in small places, you get people saying, "Oh yeah, we have
plant-based alternatives." We are, of course, super excited about.
Yeah, and the tastes are getting better and better.
I mean, even in the last 2 years that we've been in India, we've seen it used to be few and far between you'd even find soy milk, and now you can find
in India
essentially every plant-based milk here.
Yeah, because it's the largest consumer of milk. If you did not know this,
yes,
the largest consumer of milk products is India,
which makes our battle even more uphill here.
Yeah, it's tough, but
somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, especially if you know the issues with animal
dairy
products
and dairy products. Yeah.
Okay, so let's so today again, you are the expert on plant-based milk. I mean, little details like, I can get it for 50 cents or 50 rupees cheaper or for 20 rupees cheaper from here versus there. And, this particular brand is good, this particular brand is not good, and so on. You're just nodding your head. People cannot see you now.
Oh, yes. I'm saying yes.
Yes.
I spent many hours during quarantine researching this.
What I was thinking is, I always like to come up with a framework. So when I say framework, I mean, like, in this case, maybe we could talk about pick a particular plant-based milk, and then talk about some of the virtues, and similar virtues. We'll keep comparing and contrasting between them. And of course, since we've already created this, you have created this awesome table, we'll put it up on our website so people can download it, look at it on their phone or whatever.
It's a good reference.
Yeah, they can reference it and say, hey, you know what? Almond milk, what is the thing that she said about? Boom, you can just pull it up and see it. You don't have to listen to us ramble on and on.
I mean, you can if you need to get to sleep at night, but...
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so the virtues or characteristics I was thinking of concentrating were, let's say, we could talk about the cost, value for money, let's say, the environmental impact. And then, environmental impact, because it's vegan, quote unquote, people are always, quite attuned to the environmental impact. People don't think about the health impact. So maybe after that, you can enlighten us on the health impact. And of
Sure.
course, finally,
Taste.
why do we drink it, right? I mean,
Yeah.
so taste. I mean,
Taste and uses.
yeah, and uses. That's right, because you can use
Certain ones are better for others, in our opinion,
Yeah.
and many people's opinion.
Yeah. Let's start, and if we go over our kind of like a approximate time frame, we'll
Which we will.
yes, we probably will.
Inevitably. Maybe not. Maybe let's see.
Well, let's try it. Let's
All
try
right.
it. Okay. All right. You don't have to rush it, but at least let's not try to ramble on and on. All right. So the first one that most people are aware of, and this product has been there for eons, like I think probably thousands of years, is soy milk.
Yep.
Right? So soya milk or soy milk, any which way you pronounce it, is basically made from soybeans, and they just in all these milks basically they take the seed or the grain and put it in some water and grind it up.
Pulverize
That's
it, yeah.
really the essence of these things. It just turns into like a whitish liquid, and that's pretty much the end of it. So they take soybeans, crush it up, put some water in it, and then you get soy milk. So
Yeah.
you know what? Tell us about.
Well, one thing I want to say about all of these is we always encourage you to look at labels, because different brands have different additives, emulsifiers and preservatives and everything. So we always recommend organic if possible, least additives, so least number of ingredients listed.
Yeah, that reminds me, we are planning to do one on just reading labels, right? That way people can figure out what do these things mean.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Very helpful.
So let's people decide whether what we say.
We think it's very helpful. Okay.
All right. So soy milk.
So soy milk, starting with cost.
Yeah.
At least in India, and I'm pretty sure in the US too, it's one of the least, and I'm not sure about Europe, but I would imagine because of the ubiquity of soy, it's one of the least expensive milk alternatives, especially if you make it at home. Now, I have not delved into this myself yet. I'm not sure why I haven't, but it's super easy to make at home as well. Ajoy just kind of explained the process. And soybeans in India are very easy to find. And most places they're easy to find. So cost-wise, soy gets a +1. So environmental impact. A lot of kind of the general theme you'll see with these plant-based milks, and compared to dairy milk, which I'll get to at the end, it's much less overall, but the use of water is a big deal. Because we just mentioned to make it is basically water plus some kind of nut protein or grain or whatever. The thing about soy is it uses significantly less water than I think all the other plant milks actually. So that's another +1 for soy milk. But one of the concerns with soy milk, or soybeans in general, is that there's a huge uptick in soybean farming, especially in South America. So unfortunately, the soybean farmers are having to clear out large amounts of land, including the Amazon River Delta, which is always not a good thing. But a caveat to that is to realize that 95% of the soy used in that area is actually used for animal feed. If there are less animals to be fed, meaning people are eating less animals and or dairy producing animals, then you wouldn't need as much soy. And also, not just in that area, globally, more than 3/4 of soy is used for animal feed. And then finally, one more good thing. So it does use a lot of land, yes, but that's unfortunately because of the need for dairy. Animal agriculture,
ironically, it's being used for dairy.
Yes, ironically, that's true. Dairy and beef.
And meat,
And another final good thing about soy environmentally is that because they're beans or legumes, they keep nitrogen in the soil. So the plant is able to use nitrogen more readily, and you don't have to use nitrogen-based fertilizers. So less fertilizer means happier plants and water and environment, or air, I guess. And then talk about health impact of soy. This is probably the most controversial of all the plant-based milks.
We really need to
we could probably do a whole, or we will do a whole talk on soy because...
tofu.
Remember, soy is not just soy milk. Soy is tofu and tempeh and soy sauce and all that stuff. So anyway, back to soy milk. So it's controversial because it contains a phytoestrogen. Phyto means plant-based estrogen. And there was some concern for several years that these estrogen can mimic human estrogens and cause breast cancer in women and other hormone-dependent cancers, and then in men cause feminization and all this other stuff. This has been largely proven wrong, debunked. The example that we always like to use is look at China and Japan. Massive amounts of soy, not just soy sauce, but tofu and tempeh and all of that. If it were true, there would be huge cancer rates there, that all the men would look like women, et cetera, et cetera. So that's my general thing about soy. Soy is safe. Our youngest, after he weaned from breastfeeding, was on soy formula, and now they both drink soy milk almost every day. So clearly we're fine with soy, and they're mostly normal.
Mostly.
But the great thing about soy milk, once you get past all the controversy, is it's the closest in nutritional value to cow's milk. And what are the great things about cow's milk? Because I don't want to totally debunk or not totally defame cow's milk. Cow's milk is a great source of nutrients and protein and calcium. Well, no, calcium is for another day. But anyway, traditionally we say milk is a source of calcium, right? But soy contains the same amount of protein per volume as cow's milk, soy milk, I mean. And it also contains all of the essential amino acids. The essential amino acids are those that that humans have to get from their diet, not that is not produced in the body. So it's almost exactly the same as cow's milk, with the benefit of being lower fat, much lower sugar, and I think tastier. Also has...
I don't know about the taste. It depends on people, right?
You have to have... And I'll get to... Actually, that's a good segue into taste. Let's talk about taste. It's definitely an acquired taste. If you ask our kids, they love soy milk, but I think they've been used to it for years. You don't like soy milk.
I've had it for a long time, but I still find it a little chalky.
Yeah, it definitely depends on the brand. There are good soy milk, good tasting soy milks, and chalky, probably more preservative tasting soy milks. So it is an acquired taste. Why do you always
feed me the preservative-laden chalkies?
Because I love you so much.
Thanks.
But I predominantly use soy milk for baking and for cooking, because once you mask it with sugar or whatever, it's a great thickener because it's a thick milk. It's very good for cooking. And you actually put soy milk in your cereal.
I was about to say, so yes, even though I find it chalky, but when I add it to my cereal, it doesn't feel as chalky. If I drink it directly,
straight up,
or if I put it in my protein shake, I find it very chalky. Otherwise, I don't.
Yeah, and then back to the health impact about vitamins. It does contain vitamin A, B12, and D. Of course, the B12 and the D are fortified, and fortified with calcium as well as good omega-3 fatty acids. And interesting, this is not a fortification thing. Soy milk has more potassium than all the other plant milks and cow's milk.
Naturally.
So, naturally, right. So this would be, that's good for most people. However, if you're someone that has heart problems or kidney problems or blood pressure problems, of course, it depends on specifically what's going on in your medications. If you're someone that has to steer clear of too much potassium, obviously you need to check with your doctor. Because I think this is one of those food, I don't think people think about soy as a high potassium food. You think of bananas or potatoes, but not soy. So that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Now, soy is probably one of my favorites, so I'll try not to be as long-winded.
Okay. So the next one I want to really talk about is something that's, I know, and I shouldn't preempt you and talk about the environmental impact of oats, but can we talk about oats next?
Yeah, oats is probably tied...
Don't sow them, just...
Yes. Oats is tied with soy for my favorite. So cost-wise, it is a little more expensive than soy milk, but it's still not terribly. Yeah, it's I put moderate. It's not as expensive as some of the nut milks, but it's also not as cheap as soy milk. I think mostly because it's more up and coming. I feel like once it's around for longer, it'll be less expensive because oats, if you think about it, are very cheap.
Right.
I mean, you can get... so I'm not sure why. In fact, there's a brand of oat milk that we used to get in the U.S. From Sweden, I think, called Oatly, and they've been around for 30 years. And they actually, if you have access to that, that's supposedly one of the best brands because they're very environmentally friendly and they use They
milk each oat separately.
Yes, they take the time to milk each oat. Okay, moving on, speaking of environment and not of milking oats. Oats do not use a lot of water in their sowing, like soy, which is good. But in the U.S. especially, and I would imagine in other parts of the world, unfortunately, they're contaminated with a lot of glyphosates or bad
like Roundup.
fertilizers like Roundup. And they have a fairly large surface area, so they absorb a lot of it. So please try to get organic, non-GMO oat milk. Oatly is not organic, but it does not use. They've claimed that they do not use any of these harmful pesticides. So make sure you check your source of your oat milk, because obviously we don't want you eating pesticides. Yeah. Health-wise, oat milk is the best source of fiber of all of the plant-based milks, and because it's a source of fiber, it's a source of insoluble fiber, meaning it's harder for the body to break it down. So
like a nice broom.
Yes, it's like a broom for your intestines, which we like to say. So it takes out the bad cholesterol, it takes out the excess glucose. It's great for patients with diabetes, for cholesterol, for high blood pressure, heart disease, all of those things. Fiber, we love singing the praises of fiber. And oat milk also has a moderate amount of protein, more so than some of the other plant-based milks, but less than soy. So oat is a great, it's good for the environment. It has the added benefit of fiber. And taste-wise, I think it is the second best, and you would probably say the best tasting of all the plant-based milks.
For me, oats is the best tasting.
We often recommend patients to try oat first as a milk alternative because it tastes the closest to dairy milk.
Yeah, true.
Which is why it's not my favorite, actually, because I don't really like the taste of dairy milk. It's too close to dairy milk. Yeah. But it is, tied for number one for me.
All right, so let's move on a little faster if possible, because we've already spent a fair bit of amount.
So we'll do this next one, which I have a lot to say, almond, and then we can take a break maybe.
Yeah, so we can talk about almonds now?
Yeah, so almond milk is also fairly controversial, especially if you've probably read the news over the last couple of years. It is one of the most expensive milks. Usually the nut-based milks are the most expensive because it
come from huge old trees.
Yeah, and also you have to add a lot of water, and nuts are just generally more expensive in general compared to.
So can you go back to oats for just a second? Well, oats are a monocot, so they grow really, really, really fast. They're basically a grass family, so they grow up really fast. Yes. So they use very little water in comparison.
And they're very sustainable.
Yeah, in comparison to almonds.
That.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right.
Almonds and other nuts come from a tree.
Yeah.
So the tree obviously takes a lot longer to grow than oats. So almond milk is one of the most expensive plant-based milk, if not the most. No, it's probably not the most. It's one of the most expensive. And you've probably heard of a couple of these issues. We talked about water usage just now. So of all the plant-based milks, it uses the most water, but still significantly less than dairy milk, than cow and buffalo milk. So please keep that in mind. I'll keep harping on that throughout this podcast. One of the sad things about almond milk is, not one of the sad things about almond milk, it is sad. So first, it's important to know that about 80% of almonds in the world are produced in California, which is a very dry, arid climate. So that's partially why they need so much water. And the almond trees need to be pollinated by bees. And believe it or not, every year, billions of bees are recruited to California to pollinate these trees. And billions of them die at the end of the pollination season because of the environmental changes that they're not used to.
Right.
They're basically visiting an environment that they're not used to. They've been just brought over here. So billions of bees are dying per year because we love our almonds and our almond milk. So if it's possible for you to find almond milk not from California, please let me know where I can get it, because then I'd be happier drinking almond milk. I think the Middle East is another place, like that area where lots of nuts and dry fruits come from is another source of almonds. So maybe if you can find them, great.
Yeah.
And then another negative aspect of almond milk is that it has one of the least amounts of nutrients of all the plant-based milks.
Really?
There's essentially no protein, very little protein, maybe 1 or 2 grams per serving. It's basically water. And so when you blanch the almonds, meaning you take the skin off, a lot of those vitamins are removed.
I see. And fiber is also not there much.
Exactly. Vitamins and fiber are taken out. It also, because it's mostly water and very few almonds, they add more thickeners and emulsifiers to it as well. One that could be positive or negative depending on your needs. It is one of the lowest calorie of all milk. So if you're watching your calories, that's good. But if you're, for example, you want to give it to your child or an elderly person, maybe not the best for them because it doesn't have much calories. Like other plant-based milks, it is fortified generally with vitamin A, calcium, and vitamin D. It is a natural source of vitamin E, like many other nuts, so that's a positive for almond milk.
Makes sense. What about the taste?
So my favorite taste, unfortunately, is almond milk, and I maybe tried to push under the rug all these things that I knew about almond milk, and now I've decided I'm going to go out and buy more oat milk. But I think it's delicious. It has a nice, subtly nutty taste. It's not very heavy. That's why I prefer it. So, you can have it in chai, you can have it in coffee, and it doesn't overpower. It's also good for making sauces, cream sauce.
I use it for palak tofu.
For the cream aspect.
For the creamy aspect, just almond milk. Because it has that nutty taste and,
Right, and it's creamy too. Creamy without being a lot of fat or calories. So that's why almond milk, taste-wise, is number one for me, but for the environment and nutrition, maybe not.
But having said that, you can't even compare the environmental impact that almonds have versus cow's milk or milk production.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, like I said, we'll keep harping on this. I have a good quote. Maybe I'll say it now and then I'll say it again at the end. Drink what you want. If you're going with plant milk instead of animal milk, you've already addressed most of the environmental problems that your animal milk habit was causing. So pat on the back if you've chosen to switch to plant-based milk. If you have the availability and you're able to switch to something other than almond milk or other nut milks, that's better. However, oat milk, for example, is a little more difficult to find in a lot of countries than almond and soy. So like Ajoy said, almond milk is still significantly better for you than dairy milk, for you and for the environment.
Why are you pointing to me when you say for you?
You.
Why?
And me. And everyone. All right. So I think I've been rambling more than usual.
So let's just stop it here and then go on to part 2. Is that okay?
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
Bid farewell.
Bid farewell. Yeah.
No nuts about it.
Yes. All right. Thanks. All right, folks. See you or
stay tuned.
Stay tuned
for more fortification of your mind.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Bye.
I'm high on cold medicine. Bye.
We really hope you enjoyed our conversation. Can you think about one thing or an idea that you can start to introduce into your own life that will help make your life healthier and less stressful?
If you enjoyed today's episode, we'd really appreciate it if you can take a few seconds to share the podcast with your friends and families. Thank you so much for listening.
And always remember, your health is literally in your own hands. Making lifestyle changes is not an easy task, but we promise you will be aptly rewarded with a long, healthy, and disease-free life.